So today we're going to talk about making your own magical spice blends. I did not come here with recipes because I want to talk to you more about the process than the recipe. I'm really bad at recipes anyway. Um, so uh, I hardly ever make things the same way twice. So, but I wanted to talk to you about the process of making your own herbal and spice blends for your own kitchen witchery, and also for some information about proper storage and how to prep your herbs and spices and things like that. And I am Dawn Black, and I am the editor of Wikipedia, and my blog is at sacredhearth.com. So first, we're going to talk about some basic tools that I use to prep my herbs. Now, I like to use whole herbs. I do sometimes buy pre-ground herbs, but I find whole herbs much preferable because when you grind them, this is a nutmeg, by the way. That's what I'm playing with over here. When you grind your herbs right before you use them, or a short time before you use them rather than purchasing them pre-ground, you just end up with more flavor. They're more potent. They're just better, and I do keep them in the fridge so that they have a longer shelf life, and I just kind of enjoy the process of grinding my own herbs. So a couple things. Now, if you do grind your own herbs a lot, you'll want to perhaps invest in one of these. This is a nutmeg grinder, and it's actually got a little pocket up here you can keep your nutmeg in. After you've ground half your nutmeg, you can put the rest of it up in there. It's pretty cool. But it's a fairly simple concept. It's hollow on the inside so that the nutmeg you know how to grind a thing, right? And this is also good, not just, see, you got quite a bit already right there. I don't know if you can see. Can you see? Maybe not. Maybe you can't see. But this is good not just for nutmeg, but it's also good for cinnamon, any kind of hard herb that you're going to grind. If you don't have one of these, that's fine. I just have one because I'm obsessed with nutmeg. And now it smells like nutmeg in here. You can use a good old-fashioned box grinder right there. This smallest side of your old-fashioned box grinder is pretty much the same as your nutmeg grinder. And you can just go ahead and grind your nutmeg or your cinnamon right on there. I put it on a plate like so. And you just soon your plate has cinnamon on it. It actually works better if you do it this way. I find it's just a better angle for grinding, you know what I mean? Like this is just awkward, but it's much more comfortable to do it this way. But same thing, lots of cinnamon. Now it smells like nutmeg and cinnamon. And also for your, your wet, fresh herbs like your garlic and ginger, if you want to put them into a spice mix, you will have to dry these. And your onions as well. Anything else you're going to put in a spice mix that is dry, that is not dry already, like the nutmeg, and the Cinnamon is a tree bark, and the nutmeg is a little nut. So they're already dry, so you can just grind them. The garlic, though, you can use the slicer. Be careful, though. This will take your fingers off. If you have a mandolin, you can use a mandolin, or you can use a knife. And then you have all these nice little slices, like so, nice and thin. And you can put them on in your food dehydrator if you have a food dehydrator. If you do not have a food dehydrator, then my recommendation is get yourself an old baking sheet that your husband used on the campfire, and put this is a cookie rack, and this is, oh goodness, I think this was maybe $6 or $8. And I like to put a little oil on there so that this stuff doesn't stick. And then you just put your slices on there, put it in a low oven. My oven has a fan in it. It just came that way. So it really circulates the air well. You can also leave your oven door open. You put it on the lowest setting, and you want it to get crisp. You want your herbs to be so crisp that when you bend them like that, they snap. And then you can break them up. Let me see if I have some. Here we go. I have some paprika left here that I made out of the paprika that I grew, and this is gone pink. It needs to be recharged. This is a little silicone packet, and I put it in with my dried herbs, my paprika or whatever, to absorb any moisture. It turns pink like this when it's not even completely pink, but it's starting to turn pink when it has absorbed some moisture, and then you can just put that in your low oven just like you're dehydrating an herb, and or you could put it in your food dehydrator too. I put it in my dehydrator. I keep my dehydrator down in my laundry room because it's really loud, and it's loud in my laundry room, so it can hang out there with all the other loud things. But you can see my paprika here. I roasted these and then stuck them on the dehydrator. See, they are brittle. They just snap. So I can just pop them right in here, which is my mortar. And I break them up into little pieces first. And I did grow these this year. And the variety I used was Alma paprika, and I got them from Annie's Heirloom Seeds website. And I like them. This is the second year I grew them, so I'm a fan. And then I'm going to show you how I grind them up. And this is the same method that I'm going to use with like my mustard seeds here, or cumin seeds. I love fresh ground cumin. It's like hugely different from any other, from getting it pre-powdered. It's just, so first I take my pestle and I just kind of break things up a little when I have big pieces. So I started out, and then I'm going to break it up. Oh, and I can smell it. It smells so good. And then I take it and I go in a circular motion. Now, you want to go according to witchcraft tradition. You want to go clockwise for drawing and counterclockwise. Anyway, they say kitchen witches should go clockwise. I am always trying to go counterclockwise. That's the way my body wants to go. But anyway, so paprika is warming, And it's got this loving, warming, snuggle up to me energy. So you want to think about that while you are grinding up this paprika. And that quick, just that quick, we have paprika powder. Isn't that gorgeous? And it smells so good, I'm telling you. So, I don't want to put it here with the cinnamon because I'm not putting it in the same mix. Get a different plate. Smack myself. Okay, and it's just gorgeous. I can't tell you how good this smells. I absolutely love my paprika. If you can, paprika is just a pepper. It's I did a blog about my peppers a few weeks ago at sacredhouse.com, and I talked about the paprika a little bit. It's just a pepper. It's like a sweet, warm bell pepper, and it turns bright red when it's ripe. And it is super easy to grow in a garden as long as you have at least, I'd say, 4 months of good weather. You could probably also grow it indoors. And even if they don't get ripe right away in the garden, you can bring them in if you have a frost, because they turn white and then they turn orange and then they turn red. If you get a frost early, they ripen beautifully in just a box or a paper bag. Yeah, so definitely if you're thinking about what kind of herbs you need to grow in your garden, I highly recommend getting paprika, and the variety I like is the Alma paprika. Oops. Let's see. Now, as far as, so with the mustard seeds, and I use mustard seeds a lot for like potato salad, and I have a little spice mix that I make for myself, and it has mustard seeds, onion powder, salt, and white pepper, and I just grind that all up in here. Again, this circular motion, I kind of smash it a little bit to break them up, and then they went flying. In a circular motion to grind them up. And I love those unboiled eggs, and we eat a lot here because we have the chicken, so we're always trying to eat eggs. So that's it's just mustard, black pepper, onion powder, and salt. And then of course, and paprika also. Can't forget that. So when I'm making a spice mix dough, you want to grind all your spices separately, and you want to think about, while you're grinding the spices, like their magical properties. So mustard seeds are hugely protective. They and strengthening of the body. There are, according to there are lots of different traditions about all your different herbs, and you're going to, of course, use your own traditions. Whatever you were brought up to believe about mustard seeds, then that is what you're going to incorporate into your spirituality with regard, or your magic with regard to them. And again, that once they're ground up, they go bad. I mean, they'll last about a year, but their flavor immediately starts to go down. You have the most potent peak flavor when your mustard seeds are freshly ground. And again, there you go. Now the mustard seeds have like little shells and stuff in them, And you can run that through a sieve, and I have one specifically for, I just saw the thing. Here we go. Yep, I was right the first thing. So this goes in a jar. And it's got the sieve on the bottom there. And you just pour them in, shake it out. And then you can put your extra, and you can just use a regular sieve. You can take, if you only have a big one, like a wire sieve, you could put it over a larger bowl and then strain your mustard seeds in there, and then you're getting your little, but there's still good stuff in here, so you can just grind it again and again until it gets to where you want it to be. Now, if you don't have a mortar and pestle, and I as far as like magical tools go, this is one of my favorites. I really feel like when I'm grinding up those seeds, when I'm grinding up my herbs, that I'm like doing a back and forth exchange with them when I'm using the mortar and pestle. Of course, there is also the coffee grinder. And you can get these with hand cranks too, that are non-electric. But they seem to be, the only ones that I found have been really expensive. I wanted something that was non-electric, but they're all like, I'm sure there's something that's not ridiculously expensive. I'm just looking in the wrong place. But this is an electric one, and this makes really short work of. It's just got a little blade down in the bottom, and this comes off so you can clean it. And we use this all the time for all kinds of stuff. And you can just grind it up, zoom, zoom, zoom. It's really loud, so I'm not going to demonstrate right now. But it makes short work of any of your grinding needs. And of course, we have the cayenne, or these are chili peppers. And there's lots of chili peppers. There's cayennes, there's anchos, there's and it's the same thing. You should dry them until they are crisp. See, they just crisp like that, and then you can grind them up. They do leave lots of. Actually, this is one that I would put in the metal coffee grinder because the oils are going to stick to my my precious mortar and pestle and make everything hot afterwards. But yeah, so to revisit drying the herbs, and I talked about the peppers and the garlic, and for those, you want to, and the ginger also, ginger would be the same. You want to slice them thin and put them on a tray, either in your food dehydrator or in your oven, and dry them until they're crisp. And that will take a while. I think it took a couple days. It did. It took a couple days for my paprikas, which is the most recent thing that I dried. First you're going to bend them, and they're going to be like rubbery, and but you got to keep going until they snap. As for other herbs, like your garden herbs, they dry much quicker in the food dehydrator or in the oven. However, I feel like they're much more delicate, so I prefer to dry them in a cool situation. So what I actually do is I get a paper bag, like from the grocery store, and I hang the herbs in the paper bag upside down by their stems, and like fold the stems so that they're hanging in the bag. Or I will hang them in the house somewhere out of the light. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of space in my house. It's out of the light. And in the summertime, my house is always really hot and humid. So I find that the bag method is best, and then I put it up on top of my cabinets for, and that takes about a week, and they'll dry out. And again, you want them crispy. And I put them in jars like so. These are almost gone, but I have see, I've got my lemon balm, and this is lemon verbena. And you can see this has gone pink on me, and this is going to need to be dried, and this is really pink. The lemon verbena has been neglected. Woo! It's all over. But you see, it crumbles. That is what you want. You want it to crumble. So when you're doing an herbal blend with leaf herbs, as opposed to your fruit herbs or your root herbs or your barks or your nuts, that is, you're not going to grind it up so much as just crumble it. And as far as storage goes, I do store them all in jars. When I make the blends, I only make as much as I'm going to use in the next few weeks because, again, your flavor starts to diminish as time goes by, so I don't want to make too much at a time. So I just save spice jars, or I get them from other people and soak the labels off and then just use them. You can also get, in the canning section at the grocery store, they have the 8-ounce canning jars, and they come, this is also an 8-ounce canning jar. This is the wide mouth jar, and this is the narrow mouth jar. These are actually the same size, but different shapes. So whichever one you like the best, and they come with their little canning lids. But you can also get these. You can also buy these plastic lids separately, because these do tend to. It's up to you. These do tend to rust. Now, for the herbs, I just use the metal lids. I mostly use the plastic lids for my ferments, because the acid in the ferments will pit the metal, and it doesn't affect the plastic lids. So, and then for labeling, you can see I am, I just use tape and a marker of a contrasting color. And you can, of course, do that if you want to be fancy. However, there are lots of, you can get printable labels, and you can make them as pretty as you want to. You can put clip art on there. You should probably put dates and things on there, as well as the ingredients. So I definitely recommend you look for those. I have these that I use these when I'm giving them away as gifts, because they're prettier that way. I do not actually have a printer, but these are meant to be printed. These are from Mr. Label, and I like these because they're kind of country looking. They're just like the brown craft paper, but I write on them by hand. I don't actually own a printer, so. And then these fit on the small mouth jars, but you can get them for the large mouth jars as well. And you can also get the labels for the front of the jars as well. I like the ones on the top. These soak off really easy, which is a big plus for me too, because when I reuse my lids, I don't like to have to fight with the getting the labels back off. I've actually stopped buying products because I couldn't get the label off the jar, because and bought a different product that the label came off, because I don't know. I collect jars. I am an obsessive collector of an obsessive not throw things away person, I guess. I don't know. Recycler, reuser. Okay, so So I've explained some of my methods. So the process of making your herb blend, you want to explore a couple of things. Of course, you want your magical blend to be magical. So you want to choose herbs that complement each other magically. But you also want your herb blend to taste good. That is incredibly important. So you also want them to blend flavor-wise. And learning to do that in your head is, I think that's a skill well worth developing. So, and you will do that. You will develop that skill if you spend your time getting to know the plants, getting to know the herbs, grinding them yourself, inhaling them. You'll learn what plays well with others. In the meantime, of course, we can use some of our more traditional spice blends as a guide. And I took some notes here. For example, chili powder. So chili powder basically generally contains dried chili peppers, and you can use, again, whatever chili peppers you like. And chili peppers heat things up. They add power to any work. They are all protective, and they've got like anti-hexing energy. If something negative is sent at you, you want that cayenne pepper, or chili powder to drive it back, or to protect you from it. And then cumin is also in chili powder, and that encourages fidelity, loyalty, and desire for one specifically. It raises the energy around you so that it's a frequency that can't be tolerated by negative energies. And if you grind your own cumin seeds, buy the seeds, don't buy the powder, buy your cumin seeds, grind it in your mortar and pestle in a circular motion so that all that wonderful smell comes up, you will know that it is creating an energetic atmosphere that just nothing bad can come into, because it's just, the smell is amazing. And you don't get that from pre-grounds. So garlic powder, also, and chili powder, also protective. Onion powder, again, onion powder draws out negative energy. Paprika is warming. It encourages good, affectionate feelings. And oregano is also protective, and it also deepens and strengthens emotional ties, relationships, and it helps to relieve sorrow, soothes a broken heart. So it's good for deepening relationships, but if there is an unavoidable separation, it's also good for healing from that. But so you've got your chili powder. It is a classic combination. Sometimes you're going to have more, depending on your personal taste, you may have more heat in it. You have more chili, you have more cayenne chili peppers. You may like it more herbally. You might have more oregano. You might want it sweeter with a little more paprika and onion. Or you might really love cumin and have more cumin in there. However you do that, and there are standard formulas. I'm going to put some of this stuff on my website for you. But however you do that, you're going to bring in all that energy. You're going to make it taste just right for you, and it's going to be protective. It's going to be the sort of energy that's going to bring people who care about each other together around a delicious bowl of chili and keep away the stuff that's going to come between them and that's going to ruin that good time together with your friends, you're your family eating that bowl of chili. So I will go ahead and post those a bunch more, or I'll go ahead and post some formulas on my website for you of your standard combinations. Another one is pumpkin spice. So you have your pumpkin spice, and again, while you're grinding up that nutmeg and that cinnamon that goes in your pumpkin spice, all of that energy is uplifting, it's warming, and it's luck energy, and it's abundance energy, and it's protection. It's, bring your family together and keep them safe and cozy energy. And that's your classic pumpkin spice blend that has, and I did a whole blog post on pumpkin spice. That's got your cinnamon, your cloves, allspice, ginger, nutmeg. And again, you want to make it yours. If you don't like ginger, leave out the ginger. If you love ginger, put in twice as much. You make it yours and grind it and breathe it in and think about, as you're making it, how it's going to just embrace your family and bring abundance into your home. So again, your basic process, you have your herbs. They should be completely dry. The ones that are bigger, that are in bigger pieces, like your nuts, your roots, like your garlic, ginger, your nuts, like your nutmeg, and the clove buds. They're not really nuts, but your bark, these are going to be ground. You're going to grate them on your grater or with your specific or your nutmeg grater. And you're going to do them each separately. And as you do them, you're going to inhale the scent. You're going to send your energy back as you absorb their energy. As you're working, you're going to go back and forth, back and forth. You will feel it if you focus. Then the things that you can't grind up like this, you're going to use your seeds, your peppers. You're going to grind them in here. You're going to go clockwise. You're going to think about, what they are bringing to your magic, and you're going to inhale the scent. You're going to take in their energy, and you're going to exchange energy there. Your energy and their energy are coming together. Then your green herbs, you're going to crumble them up. You're just going to kind of crumble them and tear them up. If you stored them whole, I like to store them in as big a pieces as possible because they last longer that way, and they stay fresher and they smell better. So you're just going to break them up, and again, you're going to smell them. You're going to exchange your energy. You're going to separate them all. You're going to do them all individually, and then you're going to put them all together, and you're going to blend them, and you're going to take a funnel, and you're going to put it in a jar, and slowly pour them in a jar, still thinking about what they're bringing to your table when you use them. And then label it, seal it. If you can, I will put a link to these. I do put these in here to help them absorb any excess moisture, to help them stay fresh. Stick them in there, and then you just use them for your cooking. And it's kind of like a shortcut. It takes a while to put them together, but then it's a shortcut at your cooking time. And that is my spiel on that today. I do not know if you have any questions. I will be happy to answer them. You can go ahead and leave your questions in the chat, and I will come back and check. Um, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Also, I want to give a shout out to my newest patron, um, aka Jane Doe. She just signed up today, and I'm super excited to have one more patron in the club, and I look forward to getting to know you. And that's it. Goodbye, and have a great week.